Whibby wobby woo, we are live with only a few technical difficulties this week. Yes, my friends, only a few. But we moved the WAN show logo. It is no longer over top of Luke's head. Now it is over top of mine.
It's not over your head. Okay.
There.
It's a... Okay.
Well, I'm short. Are you sitting up taller than usual?
No, I'm not.
Usually you lower your chair, so we're about the same height.
I actually never lower my chair.
Not that
you lower my chair.
Not that I'm asking you to go ahead and do that now, but, you know.
That's as low as it can go.
As low as it goes.
I'm sorry.
God, I hate you. So welcome to the WAN show, guys. We've got a great show ahead of us today, I hope. And we've actually had, honestly... we probably do have a great show ahead of us because this has been one of those weeks where I'm averaging about 4 hours of sleep a night because I have been working my butt off on a couple of things to just kind of kick ass and get us ahead of the 8-ball for the first time since we've moved in. Like, we actually had some content buffered when we started moving. And then, of course, we used it all. Like, we burned that so hard
completely
when we moved. And then since then, I don't know if any of you guys have ever moved before, but it's horrible. It's not like you move for 3 days and then you kind of go, oh yeah, I'm gonna relax on the front porch with my glass of like lemonade and my, you know,
I like the lemonade choice.
Yeah, the lemonade, and I got like my neighbor boy mowing the lawn, and it's like, whatever. No. It's not like that. So we have been moving since we moved.
We're still, there's still a lot of stuff being sorted out.
There's still a lot of stuff, but there's a lot that's taken care of, and it's gotten to the point where this week I was able to only do a few moving things. I was able to do all the videos that I normally need to do and get 2 full extra LTTs shot. So stay tuned, because they're actually both good. Dell sent us a ruggedized tablet that is rated for being dropped almost a meter while in operation. Not to mention that it has a capacitive touchscreen that operates with water on it.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Wait, we're supposed to do the intro.
Chipgate will be a thing that that we'll talk about. Also, Tesla cars are able to auto drive as of yesterday. The Skarp Lazer razor got pulled off Kickstarter, and Bell is being fined huge amounts of money for faking app reviews on the App Store. We should probably roll the intro.
The worst thing about that is that in the context of how much money Bell makes selling you their service and their apps, it's really just pennies. Mm-hmm. But that's a whole other conversation, which I guess we should do after
the intro.
I love this show.
It might be more than one part.
Heavens! A Linus Tech Tips video that's multi-part?
This one, like, I don't think I would have a choice. I think if you put it in one video, even if it was a pretty long video, it would be just way too hard to watch.
Right.
Because you've seen part of the problems that I have to solve already.
Yes, I have.
And I have to, like, document doing all of that.
Right.
And there's more that I probably haven't told you about yet.
Right, okay. So basically, Luke has a really cool build log that he's working on. Actually, it is going to be a crazy awesome sort of period of time here for video content. Starting this weekend, YouTube is getting the Scrapyard Wars Season 3 premiere.
Right.
Vessel is getting...
Tomorrow night.
Yep. Vessel's getting Episode 2. YouTube is getting the dual-headed gaming machine build. Did you watch it?
It's so cool.
Yeah. So we've got a single box, 2 gamers playing a Battlefront on it at the same time. I just finished shooting my video of the X34 Predator LCD. So that's Acer's 34-inch curved ultra-wide G-Sync 100 hertz monitor. It's freaking bananas. I just finished filming that Dell ruggedized tablet that you can like kick around and like, get this, not just waterproof. Or water, well, nothing is proof, but not just water resistant like rain, but jets of water from any direction. That's the Ingress protection rating on this thing. I am so stoked to put it through the paces.
That's super cool. To be fair though, jets of water, would you count a waterfall as a jet of water?
I would. Because it has weight to it.
Yeah. So my Z3 was held under a waterfall screen up, recording with the camera for like 5 minutes.
Why?
I wanted to test
Because
it.
you could?
Yeah. And it worked fine. So like that rating means it can probably take even more than that.
So I was planning to pull out those like soaker blaster things that we have and just like wreck it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited for that. Right. I guess we should do topics. Like, what was I talking about before the intro? I'm sorry. I'm super.
We should just
deprived.
do like the week in recap.
Right. So we are finally going to be back ahead in terms of the content, which means we're not like running around. Like, let me find an example. You know, sometimes people call us out on this, and we don't generally sort of acknowledge it. But come on, guys, it's not like we're not aware that once in a while a piece of content is something that we were kind of sitting around going,
what's the fastest thing we can do right
it's
now?
It's 1 p.m. We don't have a video started yet for tonight. What can we throw together? So like the server room updates video took forever. It took way longer than it was supposed to. So recycling your electronics was one that I've kind of had in my mind for the better part of a year. Mm-hmm. But the original plan was to do it as like a music video or something.
Yeah.
So that got kicked in the head, and that became just a normal LTT release.
Which is super easy.
Which was easy, but you know what?
Interesting and important. But easy.
You know what's really funny about that video? It really didn't do well on release, but over time, it's actually still so a week after its release, more than a week after its release, it's still holding steady at about 4,000 views a day. That is very, very strong. So in the long term, that video may actually do really well.
Which is good.
Sometimes I think
less fire truck.
Yeah, less fire truck. Sometimes I think like some of our most innovative ideas have come about when we just are kind of forced to do something fast. Like that video, the best type of CPU cooler, final answer, that has 1.27 million views.
Well, you also named it very clickbaity. That's probably one of our like most clickbaity videos ever. And it's not even, isn't it not even the final answer? Or don't even you, the final answer is, it depends. Isn't that what you do?
Well, that is a thing I do.
Yes. So
but that is no.
That's bullshit.
No, but that is the answer.
So the final answer is that you don't have an answer.
It's like hold on. Okay, so Linus final answer here. No, I'll screen share this with you guys because this is a thing I've done. So best type of CPU cooler. The final answer. It depends. Okay. Core i7 versus Xeon, which is better? Final answer, it depends. AMD versus Intel, final answer.
I remember that one.
It depends.
Yeah.
Sometimes, AMD versus Nvidia, final answer. Sometimes, that's the answer. The answer is
How old are those videos? We should just redo that. There's a lot of fanboy hate going around right now.
Yeah, five years ago was the Intel versus AMD one. We could totally redo that because that was on the NCIX Tech Tips channel anyway.
Not even ours.
But the thing is that people don't understand about this fanboy crap is that it's not that simple. No. People are like, don't NVIDIA cards run hot? Sometimes. Some cards.
480.
Yeah, 480 was a furnace in your tower. I know because I ran 4 of them in a half X at the time, and it was redonkulous. They didn't throttle or die, but it was in a half X.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, we gave them a fighting chance.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't remember where I was going with that anymore. Right. The answer is not that simple. Life is rarely that simple. What car should I buy? I don't know. Do you need a truck bed? Do you have to make long haul trips across North America? Maybe you need a semi. I don't know. Are you trying to pick up chicks? Maybe lose the semi. Unless you're trying to pick up trucker chicks, in which case grab the semi. I don't know. Who are you? What are you about?
Or just a classy woman who wants a man with a straight-up job.
Right, and doesn't want to see him very often.
Maybe. Aww. Maybe she's introverted.
Okay, so introverted chicks who are into a guy with a well-paying job that has him away from home a lot. Now we're getting really specific. All right, so let's jump into our first topic of the day. This one is from Ars Technica. Are you dropping links?
Sure.
That was my way of saying, yo, drop the link.
I know.
We communicate so well now. It's like the old married couple thing. It's like, so the glasses. Yeah, I'm cleaning them. So this is really scary. University of Cambridge study finds 87% of Android devices are insecure. The study blames the OEMs for lack of updates and ranks Nexus devices as the most secure, which shouldn't be a surprise for a couple of reasons. Number one, the obvious reason that Google is responsible for updating Nexus devices directly. Number two, the less obvious and more unsettling reason is that the Nexus program hasn't been around that long.
Yeah.
So Google commits support for Nexus devices for, I believe it's 2 years. So there just aren't that many Nexus devices that are outside of the support period, which isn't saying that the Nexus program solves the problem at all. Like, at all.
This is really brutal.
Yeah, I mean, this is just brutal stuff. What else you got?
For this topic?
Yeah.
Google and OEMs have committed to, like he said, the monthly security update program, but it's for less than 2 years old, or for Nexus 3 years old.
Oh, there you go. But that's security updates, not new versions of Android.
Right, but still security updates.
Yep.
So a lot of people's devices, is it everywhere now that your contract is only allowed to last for 2 years?
No, that's Canadian law.
So not US?
Yeah, I have
US
no idea
still
how it
3
works
years?
elsewhere.
Okay. So in Canada, your contract with your phone company can only last for 2 years. But another thing is this agreement 2 years since the device launched?
I believe so.
So not 2 years since your contract started, and a lot of people are going to start a contract and then only want to pay like $50 for a phone, not a considerable amount for a phone.
Yep.
So they might get an older model of a phone, which is actually very close to its security updates being over. So if you're going through rotations of phones based on renewing your contract, which is extremely common, well, not anymore.
Yeah, you could end up still on a very current for you phone that's within your contract period, so you're not eligible for a device upgrade, that is not still getting security updates.
Yes.
And this has really come to a head because of some of the really scary Android exploits that have cropped up lately. So what's the answer? Well, the answer is actually pretty obvious. Both Apple and Microsoft, with their recent FU to the US carriers.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Which is
that in
awesome.
here?
Yeah, it's in there. We'll move on to, do you want to bring that up and we'll
Yeah.
do that as our next topic. Both Apple and Microsoft have the answer. You just have to, well, say FU to the carriers and to the OEMs. And that, I mean, that might not be something it's such a double-edged sword for Google. So one, screw the carriers. No one cares about what they think. And two, you have to be delivering your security updates from a central service, the way that both Apple with iOS and Microsoft with Windows 10 are going to be doing. The problem is that part of the Android benefit, the double-edged sword that is Android, is that it gives the device makers the flexibility to implement their own upgrades and their own tweaks and their own user experience enhancements, like whether it's multi-window support or whether it's enhanced, I mean, little stupid things like LG's enhanced copy paste is awesome. Like, so awesome. It just comes with a clipboard tray. It's like, yay, this is cool. Or, I mean, just little things like the way that Motorola, I love showing this off because it is so cool. The way that Motorola lets you just flick a couple times and turn on your flashlight, or wiggle and turn on the camera. Like, my camera launch is faster than anyone else because I can be wiggling it as I lift it up to my face and my camera app is launched.
But there's things around that too. In the
security.
Microsoft article, yes, and I would rather security personally. In the Microsoft article, though, it says when asked about carrier updates, Microsoft stated that Microsoft will be working closely with mobile operators to leverage their testing and it's worded a little weird, and are fighting to meet and exceed current quality bars. We will use their input to decide when to send the updates out based on input from mobile operators mainly and Windows insiders as well. But so think about it. They could talk to those carriers and be like, hey, we're going to launch this in X amount of time. Here's all the code. Update your crap. Yep. And if they don't do it, that's their fault, in my opinion. But instead, it's going the other way around. They're being too careful about it, being like, here's your stuff, you send it out whenever you're ready. That's putting no pressure on them. And they're just going to be like, we'll update it when our small team has enough time to do so.
And like, I get the argument from the Android handset maker side where they're like, you know what, actually our margins are really slim and we straight up can't afford the dev time if you're going to expect us to release a new device X, Y, or Z. And you know what, the answer to that then is you have to charge more. You can't just keep slashing your price in order to stay competitive and just kind of say YOLO, screw it to the customers who already bought your products. And the really disappointing part of all of this is, you know, that it's not just the little guys. Like, I get it if ZTE or like, you know, what would be an example of like a small, anyway, I get it if your little companies, your OnePlus or whatever, if they're kind of going, yeah, we have an enthusiast phone, we expect people to update their OS themselves or whatever, we're charging a rock bottom price for it. I get it if they're kind of taking that stance, and that sucks for their users, but hopefully they go into that knowing what they're getting. But for the giants like Samsung, it's totally inexcusable to be spending your billions of dollars on marketing the next big thing when you're not actually taking care of the last freaking big thing properly. So, I mean, yeah, let's see if there's anything else to really mention about the Windows thing.
Not much. Basically, Microsoft is just being relatively aggressive when it comes to updating their stuff, and they're saying that their main input on when to update things will be from Windows insiders and mobile operators. But they will just be pushing it directly through their own services anyways. So if things need to be updated, they just will be.
So there's a lot of things I like about Android, but this security to me could be a huge factor for Windows mobile adoption.
Yeah.
I mean, it still needs app support, but
security for a while has been kind of pushing me away from Android a bit, to be completely honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, looking at the Ars graph has a great graphic here too. So it's, I mean, this isn't new. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's like going back to April 2012.
Yeah.
It was the same as it is today in October 2016.
Yeah.
And
we've talked about this repeatedly in the past, over and over and over again, about how there's huge security problems. And like, people are going to slam on me, but I don't care. When iPhone's coming out with like the little encrypted core and all that kind of stuff, and when there's the huge case in the States where they were trying to see if, wasn't it government could see what's on that part of your phone? And they said, no, you can't. That's awesome. That's super cool. It's annoying because there's no way I want to give up this phone.
Yep.
I love this phone.
Yep.
Like, I actually do.
Yeah, there's stuff that I hate about the iPhone and Windows Phone experiences.
Yep.
The fact that with iOS, you must have an iPhone, which means if you want decent battery life, you better put some kludgy, stupid Mophie case over top of it. It's like, thank you, Joni Ive, for your beautiful industrial design that just isn't
camera
functional.
bump, like just so much dumb crap.
Yeah,
there's so many things that make me hate iPhones.
Lose the camera bump and fill it with battery. What a concept.
Yeah.
But whatever, it's not artistic enough or something. And then Windows Phone, I mean, I think my problems with Windows Phone are fairly well documented at this point. Speaking of the iPhone, though, let's bring up Chipgate, the iPhone 6s controversy. So I'm just going to pull up Austin's video on it, which has about 500,000 views. Yes, this is something that that's an ad. Well, we're supporting Austin, right?
Cool.
So I'm going to pull, I'll pull up Austin's video on it.
One thing that I really like that I got to call out here is Jonathan Morrison as well.
Yep.
These guys like kind of teamed up for these videos, so they both have a call out to each other at the end of each other's videos, and their videos complement each other. So if you're interested in Chipgate, check out Austin's and Jonathan Morrison's. Yeah,
so basically, in a nutshell,
TLD today.
Apple couldn't get enough chips, or didn't want to, for whatever reason, buy all of their chips from a single source. Because the reality of it is, there's only a handful of manufacturers on the planet, Apple not being one of them, who can actually fabricate semiconductors, like that is microprocessors at the latest manufacturing process nodes. So Intel is one of them, and you can bet that Intel isn't going to run around making iPhone CPUs. Samsung is another one, and as unlikely a partnership as that seems, Samsung is actually one of the sources for the iPhone 6S. TSMC is another one. Global Foundries, the spinoff from AMD's old manufacturing, is another. And I can't remember what happened. We actually talked about this on WAN show, but I can't remember what happened to IBM's junk. But blah, 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 chip fabrication. I think they might have sold to Global Foundries, if I recall correctly. So anyway, there's only a handful of companies you can make them from, and usually you go with one or the other because it requires a significant amount of re-engineering of the chip itself in order to utilize someone else's manufacturing process. And in the case of Samsung and TSMC, we are actually talking about them not even quite being on the same node. So one of them is, I believe, is 14 nanometer, while the other is 16 nanometer, but I'm doing that off the top of my head.
I'm
Is
pretty
that
sure
correct?
it's 14, 16. I don't see it in the thing. I'll try to find it.
Which actually means that TSMC's chip is slightly physically larger,
like
even.
Noticeably.
So Apple had to do a metric crap ton of work. Now, to be clear, a smaller manufacturing process does not always mean, faster transistor switching. So that's the frequency, the megahertz. It does not always mean that. It doesn't always mean less or more heat output. Perfect example of that was, oh crap, I am drawing a complete blank. But if I recall correctly, heat output was a bit of an issue on early Ivy Bridge, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, the point is that you don't always get this. Shrinking it was good for a long time, and then it started to get to the point where shrinking it more caused higher heat density, which was harder to dissipate because you just don't have a whole lot of area to slap a heatsink on anymore. So it's a very, very complicated equation. And at the end of the day, so for whatever reason, Apple is dual sourcing their A9 processors from TSMC and from Samsung.
Yes, 14 nanometer from Samsung and 16 nanometer from TSMC. And the Chipgate is already on Wikipedia.
That's awesome. So basically, YouTuber Austin Evans tested both and saw that TSMC's hardware was capable of a longer battery life in his test. So he was using an app called Lirum that identifies which processor a phone has, and then you pull a reference number and it tells you exactly what code corresponds to it. The app was, by the way, pulled temporarily due to compatibility issues and is being put back up. That's according to the doc. I'm not sure if it's back up yet. I also know that it was free and it showed up again as a paid app, so there's that as well. Apple actually did issue a statement. And one of these days, YouTubers are going to stop, twisting the thumb screws on poor Apple with, Ben gates and chip gates, and I wonder what the next gate will be. So Apple stated that certain manufactured lab tests, which run the processors with a continuous heavy workload until the battery depletes, are not representative of a real-world use case scenario, which on Android, they wouldn't be able to say, because I've certainly managed that with stupid power-hogging apps. Since they spend an unrealistic amount of time at the highest CPU performance state, it is a misleading way to measure real-world battery life.
One thing I must say is that manufactured lab tests, if Austin or Jonathan read that and that is describing their things, good job, guys. That's impressive.
Yep.
Because Apple saying that what you did was a manufactured lab test is like pretty dope, actually. But also, they both did a very hardcore style, if I remember correctly, I think they both did a very hardcore style lab test style test, and then also did more realistic style scenarios. And like,
to be clear, by manufactured, we're meaning like synthetic, like
yeah.
not real world actual usage.
Yeah.
And then
they did things like, oh, I took a time lapse for a while, or I like recorded a video for 10 minutes, which is not unrealistic at all.
Yep.
So they both did more real life stuff.
Uploaded the video, ran Geekbench, and so at the end of that, the Samsung iPhone was reading 55% battery and the TSMC iPhone was reading 62%. So,
there were some variances based on what tests that they did, but
yep.
like I said earlier, check out both of their videos. Yeah.
And a thing to understand too is that even from chip to chip from the same manufacturer off of the same freaking wafer, you can see significant variations. I mean, that's why, the Core i7 5960X exists and the 5820K also exists. They're the same damn thing. They come off of the same wafer. But some are better than others, and that's life. Some of them run at, and I mean, Intel, for example, this happened a couple generations ago now. They stopped rating their processors at a fixed default voltage.
Yeah.
It's a range now. So if you buy a CPU for your desktop, it could run at slightly lower or higher power consumption than the one in your phone. So that shouldn't really surprise anyone. But that hasn't kept the usual knee-jerk reaction of product recall, class action lawsuit from kind of cropping up. It's just, if Apple only advertises the lower of the two, then it's more of a, yay, I got a bonus, than I got ripped off by buying, luck of the draw, I got the wrong one.
And also, to be fair, it's fairly consistent that the TSMC chip is coming out with much better, well, not necessarily even much better, but
better.
Definitely better.
Noticeably better.
Yeah, battery life, it's pretty consistent. So the binning thing might not completely apply here. It applies to everything to a certain degree. But I think it's beyond that by a fair amount. So,
I mean, I guess with all of that said, so we got all the factual stuff out of the way. What's your take on this?
I don't know. I already don't like battery life on everything. This phone is actually a pretty good exception. I can often get a day and 3/4 or maybe even 2 days if I really drag it out on the second day and try not to have the screen on too much. Anything that's going to screw with my battery life on a phone that honestly doesn't have that great battery life already, I would probably be pretty pissed off.
So would you return it? Bearing in mind that Apple's return policy is excellent. Would you return it and roll the dice again?
Probably. I don't, setting up a new device does not take that long for me.
Nope, it doesn't anymore. It used to.
If I had a Samsung chip, I would actually return it, yes. Yeah.
But would you feel like you're entitled to class action, whatever the heck, if you're a bunch of people stuck with Samsung chips now?
Maybe not. Class action in what form?
Do you think Apple owes you money?
$20?
Yeah, well, that's how they usually work.
If I actually thought that they had advertised it in a different way, yes. I don't know. I haven't looked at any of their advertisements. If I could test it against one of their advertisements and then be like, no, it didn't make through what you just told me it would, then sure, yes, I would feel that way because that's false advertising and that's bullshit. But if it's just not as good as the other one, then no, I'd just try to roll and gamble and get it eventually.
Right.
I'd just return it, and then if that didn't work, just return it and then whatever.
I actually haven't tested my success yet.
You should do it right now.
No, you have to do a bunch of crap. Yeah.
I thought you just downloaded an app and checked.
Well, okay, it might be now. When I first looked, you had to download an app and you had to do a bunch of other stupid crap and register on something or whatever. Yeah, I was like, screw it, I don't really care that much.
Okay.
But what I did notice is that compared to my 6, I was doing better at the end of the day in terms of battery life, when Apple is not making any claims about the 6S having better battery life than the 6. So maybe I got a bonus. Maybe I got a TSMC chip, but I don't know. So my take on this is that the class action isn't going to work. It's not like this has never been done before. Nvidia with the 960M, I want to say, was using either Maxwell or Kepler, depending on which notebook model you were buying. I'm going to double check.
Oh, that's gross.
I'm going to double check that.
Did anything happen with the RAM thing, 3.5 gigs versus 4?
No, I don't think so.
See, something maybe should have happened.
No, maybe it's not the 960. Maybe it's not the 960M.
Honestly, I think something should have happened.
Was it the 860M or something like that? 860M Kepler versus Maxwell. Yeah, it looks like it was the 860M. Here we go. So here's notebook check. I don't know how comprehensive their benchmarks are or anything like that, but I think they've got 860M Kepler versus Maxwell. So let's have a look here. 45.2 FPS, 49.6 FPS in Unigine Heaven. So here, Maxwell is actually significantly faster in certain workloads, slower in others. Here we go. Real world games. So the Kepler comes out ahead, Maxwell comes out ahead. They kind of trade blows. The advantage, I guess, that Nvidia had in that case was that you couldn't read a review of that notebook and get a different thing because it was by model of notebook. So MSI's model XYZ might have Kepler and ASUS's model ABC might have Maxwell. Yeah. Whereas with the iPhone 6S, there is, and Apple must understand this, there is more to it than just the manufacturer's rated spec, be all and end all, as much as they'd love for that to be the case. There's reviewers, there's independent media out there testing these things. So if it came to light, for example, that I know Apple doesn't seed a ton of devices directly, but if it came to light that Apple went out of their way to seed a bunch of TSMC phones, then that could reflect very poorly on them. And in fact, the only way to really do damage control in that case would be, I think, for Apple to have seeded out only Samsung phones, for example. So they could kind of go, okay, whenever we had any direct influence on the review being done, we showed a worst case scenario. But if Apple collaborated with reviewers for reviews of the iPhone 6s to be done, and it is represented in a way that is not indicative of what the consumer will actually receive, then they could have a real problem on their hands. But I think it's probably going to take years for all of this to play out, and by then we'll be bored of talking about it, and people may or may not get their $20 check in the mail, and that'll basically be that. People are asking who my favorite hockey team is. Toronto Maple Leafs.
Really?
Just kidding, Leafs totally suck.
Oh, thank God.
What is with people asking like all these deep questions in Twitch chat? It's like Twitch chat has forgotten what they are. Linus, if you never got into computers, what do you think you would be doing with your life? I would probably be an elementary school teacher. Teacher because I've always liked presenting. I've always been good at sort of taking things and turning them into something other people can understand, which is kind of sort of what I do now. And then elementary school because I'm just not that smart. So
what's going on?
High school, because basically to teach anyone, I feel like you have to have 1 or 2 levels higher of knowledge than you're expecting to give to them. So I'm not smart enough to teach like university or high school, but I definitely have a firm enough understanding of the next 2 levels up to teach elementary school. So that's probably what I would have gone with. Oh, I got a whole lot of screw you, Linus. What do you mean, screw you, Linus?
Oh.
Even Mike Babcock cannot make the Leafs good. I'm sorry. Even all the what was his here? Hold on. What was the Mike Babcock contract? Because that was like horrendous. Wasn't it like 70 million or something ridiculous like that? $50 million contract. It's like, no matter how much money you spend, honestly, I think the coach's salary in cases like this, where you're doing like blockbuster coaching deals, I think it should cost against your cap hit. Because if the whole idea behind the salary cap is that you want to increase parity in the league, you don't want people running around spending 8-year deal at $6.25 million on the coach and like all this crap. Like these other staff to like make the players better. But I mean, with that said, whether a salary cap has a place in professional sports is a whole other argument that I'm not getting into. I'm just saying that if you're going to have a salary cap, and if you're going to, play that song that's all about equality and every team having an equal chance at a Stanley Cup, then it should also apply to the rest of the staff on the ice.
Do you want to segue from that to more things about equality and equal chance and slamming on Nvidia a little bit more?
Oh, sure, yeah.
To something that I don't think is in the doc, but should have been.
It's not? I put it on the list.
Is it?
Well, how is this not in the doc? I thought I put it on the list. What the crap? Okay, well, this super pissed me off for a number of reasons. Nvidia, Geforce Experience, Game Day Driver. Sorry, I'll find some article and I'll bring it up for you guys. Oh, look, it's Ars Technica again. Yeah, these guys are awesome. I love Ars Technica. They're actually like my favorite tech news site. Other than LinusTechTips.com, where you can also discuss with members of the Linus Tech Tips community the Ars Technica articles that we link to. So the latest NVIDIA drivers to be locked behind Geforce Experience. So it's pretty unusual for NVIDIA to do a whole press briefing conference call thing about
anything that isn't hardware.
Yeah, anything that isn't hardware.
The software
or like,
stuff is always just attached to some launch.
Yes, and they're really good at doing that because it gives us something to talk about when we're like, it's the GTX 950.
You increased all the spec numbers.
But not as high as the 960 and 970 that we already have if we're willing to shell out some more money. Yeah. So it gives the press something to like an actual story to tell, which is great. But they did one. And I talked to Luke and John, who attended this call, and the report was something along the lines of...
To be fair, I figured out there was no hardware coming out, and I bailed early.
Oh, right. Okay. And then John's report was something along the lines of, this is the most boring briefing ever. And he used to work in law. So like, rip NVIDIA.
So basically, what's happening is game-ready drivers will no longer be downloadable through the NVIDIA website, which is crazy. And only like standard drivers will be available through the NVIDIA website, which I think come out once a quarter or something.
Once a quarter or something like that.
And then to be able to get game-ready drivers, you have to have Geforce Experience.
And sign up with your email address.
Yes, email address verification required to be able to download anything.
Now, to be clear, it's not like you can't use a throwaway email address.
It's not like you can't filter the crap out of your email so they just go into a dump folder immediately.
Yes. But why?
It's just dirty.
Putting any impediment in the way
of a driver
is horrible. I mean, I don't think I've ever ripped on Adaptech for this before. Adaptech turns off their download driver servers outside of business hours.
Yeah.
So I was in the middle of the night reformatting a server, got my new OS on it. I'm trying to get my array back online, and I cannot install drivers for my RAID card. Are you for real? So, I mean, any reason for, downloadrepository.com, which probably exists, and maybe it's legit, but it probably isn't. Any reason for those sites to never have to exist ever again
is a good one.
Is good.
Yes.
Hiding your drivers behind, and even just stupid stuff like wasting my time. Why do I have to download off your site and then click update in Geforce Experience and wait for another download and another install? It's
and the biggest thing is
stupid.
I even like Geforce Experience,
yep.
But I don't care. This is dumb.
And in NVIDIA, I mean, there are a lot of things that you can say in NVIDIA's defense. In their defense, after you install drivers for the first time, a reboot is no longer required. So once you install within Geforce Experience,
Does that have anything to do with your email?
At least you don't have to restart. No, that's just crappy across the board.
Yeah,
but
Geforce Experience is cool. I actually really like it.
I was complaining about them wasting my time because I can give them a throwaway email. I don't care. But wasting my time, I don't like. And then sort of another sort of kind of, okay, yeah, I guess I kind of get it.
Imagine this is your first time too. You just got a new graphics card.
Yep.
You didn't have a Nvidia graphics card before.
You just want to play some games.
You show up at your buddy's house. You're gonna install the card and then have a little LAN between the two of you. You install your card. He's already kind of playing, and you're just like, come on, okay. I download Geforce Experience. Okay, now I have to type in my email. Oh, what? Now I have to verify this. So you have to go to your email, click on the thing, verify the thing. Okay, now I can actually download the driver. Okay, now I probably have to restart.
It's just obnoxious.
Like there's so many more steps.
So again, in NVIDIA's defense, their older non-game ready drivers from our recent driver improvements through the ages showdown are pretty good. In NVIDIA's defense, again, their quarterly WICL complete package drivers absolutely crush how often AMD is doing it right now. But that leads us. No, I know. I completely agree. The email is rubbish and that's stupid and this shouldn't exist. But all those other things basically lead me to my final point. If AMD was competitive, this wouldn't be happening. This is the kind of crap that doesn't happen if NVIDIA has to kind of look at their, also has 40% of the market and a very competitive product, and this could push consumers over the edge. If NVIDIA doesn't have to worry about AMD breathing down their neck, a lot of people kind of go, NVIDIA needs AMD to keep their prices fair. You know what? I think NVIDIA has kind of locked into what they figure people are willing to pay for a graphics card, and they're already charging as much as they feel like, let's be honest. This is the kind of stuff that worries me more, where they feel like they've got free reign to...
Because, straight up, this is for marketing emails.
Yes. They've got free reign to ask for your personal information and to waste your time because what else are you going to buy? So that's basically the long and short of that one. I don't like it. You shouldn't like it. But I'm not really sure what I'm going to do because I want game-ready drivers, so I guess I'll be downloading them through Geforce Experience.
And for people that already have Geforce cards,
Yeah.
You can't really vote with your wallet at that point unless you have enough money to buy a new card already. And people that have like a 900 series card, it's probably not a thing because they probably just bought it. So I don't know.
All right.
Pretty rough. Don't like it. Very annoying.
So let's move on to our next topic.
And that's the same thing like what you just said. It's not technically the worst thing in the world. I can just filter it out, but it's scary.
Yep, it's just crappy.
Anyways, Tesla cars can drive themselves starting October 15th. That's a little bit sensationalist.
Yeah, that is like a super...
Like
Damn
a
it,
mega redonkulously sensationalist.
Like, The Verge used to be cool. You guys used to be cool. And, like, now you're really not being that cool right now. Tesla's cars can drive themselves starting tomorrow. In a straight line.
They can...
sort of.
Well, a little bit more than that. They can switch lanes and stuff. If you turn your turn signal on, then it's like, oh, okay.
So basically, they can...
It's like super badass cruise control. Someone described it that way. That's not me saying that. I'm copying them. I don't remember who it was. But it's basically like the sickest cruise control.
Yeah.
They're officially saying right now you're supposed to keep your hands on the wheel.
Yep. Please do that.
You're not supposed to let go of the wheel.
Yep.
And I would highly recommend that. It's auto steer. It's going to keep you in the lanes. It'll check for side collisions. It can turn for you if you turn the turn signal on.
Wait, I don't think it turns for you. I think it changes lanes for you only.
Or sorry, yeah, it'll change lanes for you if you turn your turn signal
Auto
on.
park, so it'll scan for parking spots.
Yep. They're saying this is update.
That's a beta feature, by the way.
I love how there's beta features for a car. It's so dangerous. I believe this is version 7.0.
Something like that. Yep. Yeah, 7.0.
So 7.1 will make it so that it can like drive out to a garage and then come pick you up. But yeah, is that even in here?
Yep, that's in here. That's what it does.
Yes, okay, so 7.1 will be able to drive off to a garage and come pick you up when needed, which is super sick. But yeah, they're being very clear that like if problems happen, it's still totally your fault. So basically, it's kind of coming along. They're going to be continuously uploading real-world sensor data from the 7.0 equipped vehicles to continue to improve it. So there's 4 sensor types on the car that they're going to be utilizing here: forward radar, forward-facing camera, 360-degree ultrasonic sensors, and a GPS combined with their high-resolution navigation maps. And so they're probably going to be learning patterns.
Yes.
Well, if this car starts driving this way, maybe I should stay away from it or whatever. It'll start learning stuff.
And the whole fleet will kind of hive mind to each other and allow themselves to learn to drive better. And so Musk figures that, or excuse me, Tesla figures that the functionality will improve with each passing week, even without firmware updates, since the car is always accessing and improving Tesla's high-res maps. Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's interesting. I watched a video, and it's a little creepy because the guy goes over like a fairly substantial bump. I don't know if it's like a pothole or what it is because the camera's on the inside of the car, so I can't see what's on the road.
Right.
But like the car jumps a little bit, and you can tell like it went over something. It wasn't the car just jumping, and the car's the wheel is like oh okay, and like the car doesn't jostle around, but it does just amount the correction that it probably needed to, and it fixed everything. And the guy in the car's like, okay, it's fine. It's just crazy to watch. I don't know. It was pretty cool. I think it was Jalopnik that I watched the video on.
Excellent.
So you can check that out if you want.
All right, I think we're going to kind of bundle 4 news topics into one here. So AMD reports their third quarter results. So the original article here was from MarketWatch. Basically, they're not good, but if you look at it quarter over quarter instead of year over year, then I guess the revenue growth is nice, but they're still losing like millions and millions of dollars. They're back over $1 billion revenue, which is cool, I guess.
That's cool.
But like I could sell $10 bills for $8, and I could probably do $1 billion of revenue, which is basically what AMD is doing. Also, AMD is spinning off their back-end testing and assembly operations into a joint venture for $371 million. So, you know, back to the whole. Oh crap!
Real men have fabs.
I think it was Jerry Sanders III. Real men have fabs. AMD now not only doesn't have fabs, they don't have the assembly plant for taking the silicon and turning it into chips. They are going full fabless. But the good news is that this gets rid of, I think it was something like 1,700 employees that are no longer on payroll. Yep. So they're, the joint venture will see AMD contribute their facilities in Penang.
They're not being fired.
Yeah. Joint venture with, oh crap, now I forget.
Fujitsu?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So there you go. So there's that. So more bad news for AMD, and actually some bad news for Intel. They report flat revenues and lower year-over-year profits for Q3. Original article here is from Tech Report. And the reason that that's bad news is because if business isn't growing, that's really, 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 really terrible. Because as much as they're still making, 65% gross margin on their $14.6 billion of revenue, which I think was something along the lines of, oh crap, I forget what net profit it was. It was in the notes. Do you have it?
I do not see it.
Blah, 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 blah.
Are you sure
blah,
net
blah,
profit
blah.
is in the notes?
No, I'm not sure. Net profits were still very, very, very good. But
growth is very important.
Growth is important. It means you're innovating. It means your customers are inspired. They're coming back for more.
Just going to say, inspired and coming back for more. I'm not that surprised.
Yeah, I'm not surprised either, which ties into the last, oh, apparently this link to CTV News is dead, unfortunately. So there's, basically the synopsis is Intel, HP, PC does what campaign? There we go. Ars Technica's site is working. Yay, ours.
Hooray.
Cringeworthy PC does what campaign wants you to upgrade. So because Intel has been building more power efficient desktop chips and hasn't necessarily been that focused on, dramatically improving performance. And I mean, there's another issue is that there's not a whole lot of things that you would want to do on a PC today that you couldn't do on a PC from 3 to 4 years ago.
So help make more things. And I mean, it's not like they're not trying. I mean, there's those cameras with the depth sensor that I can't imagine what anyone but a game streamer would use for anything. Like, there's other stuff you can do, though. I don't know. I think the VR space is going to be huge for people upgrading PCs.
Yes, that will. But in the meantime, we have PC Does What campaign. And it's Dell, HP, Intel, Lenovo, and Microsoft contributing to this with no specific product that they're trying to sell. And the idea is just to educate apparently very mainstream users. This is a mainstream user, I think. Okay. According to this campaign, to educate mainstream users about what a PC does and why you might give a crap about it. So there's a PC. That's something someone would do. I hadn't actually watched it yet. Yeah, most helicopter pilots probably have a laptop in their lap. Wow, this is actually far worse than I thought. Wow.
I know it's sponsored by Lenovo. In basically every single one of those situations, that laptop that you're testing out would have been better. Because it's more rugged.
Wow.
That's pretty brutal.
Sorry, I don't know.
Why didn't they come to us for this? We could have done so much better.
Yeah. The problem is we would have come up with awesome stuff that a PC does that has zero interest.
That didn't have a helicopter or some dude in a dinghy in the ocean.
That has but the problem is we'd come up with stuff that she's not interested in. Mind you, I don't think she's interested in flying a helicopter with a computer in her lap either. No one should be interested in that.
And the music, they play the music in the cockpit. No one would use a full laptop for that.
Not to mention,
use your phone.
Not to mention that I've never encountered a laptop that you'd be able to hear over the sound of helicopter rotors.
No, you'd have a phone, and then that would talk to the helicopter, which would then broadcast that to your headset.
That's assuming that we have helicopters with Bluetooth dashboard stereos.
Oh, you do.
Do they?
There's badass.
Okay, luxury. That wasn't a luxury helicopter. That was the Coast
it was
Guard.
A rescue helicopter.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking.
Hey man, pass the aux cable.
We're talking. It's
I gotta
lucky.
Play this fire.
We're talking. It's lucky if that thing flies in Canada.
In Canada, yeah. We use boats for usually.
Did you just say for usually?
No.
Because that actually would have been awesome in that case. We use boats for usually.
I think,
We're Canada.
I think I said usually.
Oh, this is bad. Whoops.
Oh, derp.
Yeah, this is some ugly stuff. So this is over on Engadget. Bell, as much as sometimes they're our friends because my reception, except here at the office where we had to get a cell booster, is good, and they've done...
it's not that amazing though.
Yeah, it's okay.
I came from TELUS, and I've very vocally said many things about TELUS, so it's not like I love them, but my reception is slightly worse with Bell.
It shouldn't be. They share towers.
Really?
Yeah.
It's noticeably slightly worse in
Bell
certain areas.
shares towers with TELUS in the east, and TELUS shares towers with Bell in the west.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
It's worse at my parents' house, and it's worse at... Actually, that's not true. It's worse in one part of my house, and it's better in the other.
It could be your phone too.
That's very
something that
possible.
almost no one. It's really funny. Almost no one covers this in phone reviews anymore because reception is for the most part fine. But the Droid Turbo has terrible reception, at least for me, because as a Verizon phone, I'm not 100% sure if it supports all of Bell's bands.
Yeah.
So that is a major
could totally
factor.
be it because, like I said, in part of my house where my phone straight up didn't work before, it now works. But in the rest of my house, it's like it usually works, but it's kind of sketchy.
Anyway, I like to like Bell because there's certain things that they do right by me, but this was not one of them. So they've got a $1.2 million fine on their hands from Canada's Competition Bureau after employees posted fake reviews of Bell apps on the Apple App Store and on the Google Play Store. So basically, they had kind of crap ratings until some employees were, according to the regulator, encouraged to post glowing testimonials of the My Bell and Virgin My Account apps to both the App Store and Google Play. So it was exposed by Scott Stratton, who was aware of the app's poor standing on iTunes, and he suddenly saw the rating skyrocket due to a series of 5-star reviews, and then did some digging on LinkedIn, found out that the most praiseworthy mentions were directors, marketing managers, and other paid people by Bell Canada. And
this dude was angry.
Yeah, forced the company to admit that certain employees had been encouraged to post the ratings, but as soon as bosses were made aware, they ended the practice. Come on.
That's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I'm happy that this dude was angry enough to figure it out. And
I'm glad that this sets a precedent in Canada for this thing. This is the first time a company has faced significant monetary fines for biased reviews in Canada.
And like Linus said, what, at the beginning of the show or in the announcement? I don't even know what it was in, but
I don't even know what day it is.
The $1.25 million, which is like just under $1 million US, I think.
Which would be enough to bankrupt Linus Media Group and Linus forever.
Yay.
But is not a drop in the bucket for Bell.
It's not that big of a deal for Bell.
Yeah.
So like they got their review a little bit higher, and that might have even helped them.
Maybe.
Not
to the tune of $1 million,
but
I
like,
don't think, but
it was a little bit of a gamble, and they lost, and oh well, I guess.
And I guess that's the kind of stakes that you play with when you're a national telecommunications company.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, I'm a high roller, so whatevs. Speaking of being a high roller or whatevs, we have sponsors for the show today that I'm going to tell you guys about, all high roll and me. So Logitech, which you can check out the G633 at the link that I am going to provide, or Luke is going to provide. I am going to provide to you in chat.
I will do it.
Luke will do it. You can check out the G633 Artemis Spectrum headset, which we actually got an opportunity to check out at Logitech's facility down in Washington State. It was Washington or Oregon? Crap. I'm not good at U.S. geography, but we went to a Logitech place. Luke and Brandon
we went over the border. Brandon, where was it? Portland.
Oregon.
But it was above the line, wasn't it? We were staying in Portland, and then it was up above, was it not? Because it was actually somewhere else. We were staying in Portland. We took a bus.
So to all the Americans out there making fun of us.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah? Well, in what order do the Canadian provinces that are all the same shape go across? Yeah, that's right. Bet you didn't know that.
Technically all the same.
Yeah, they're not. No, they're not exactly the same shape. But when you were doing your test or whatever in grade 4, I had trouble. I couldn't remember
kind of difficult because
which one was shaped like this and which one was exactly flat.
Yeah.
Mind you, that shouldn't be hard. The one with the flat lines is the one with the flat surface.
That's kind of true.
Okay, Nick is apparently watching WAN show instead of doing work, and has told us that it was in Washington.
Camus.
Yeah.
That was the name of the place.
Anyway, the 633s feature 7.1 Dolby surround sound with Logitech's gaming software. They've got 40mm Pro G audio drivers, and to be clear, 40mm is not the important thing. The size of a driver is not nearly as important as the tuning. They're compatible with the PC as well as PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and feature adjustable RGB lighting, custom tags, and a cardioid boom mic. They're also sitting right in front of the set today, which a couple of you complained about last week, so we took your complaints and we put them in a fire.
We added colors to your complaints.
We added colors to your complaints. Also sponsoring the show today is Squarespace.
Build it beautiful.
Thank you. Your site will look professionally designed regardless of your skill level. Okay, within reason. I mean, if you go and like...
You can try to make it bad.
You can change your font to Comic Sans.
Yes.
You can draw all your own images in MS Paint.
Which arguably might make sense for certain websites. If you're making like a kids crafts website store, which is possible on Squarespace. Are you going to straw poll this? If you're making a kids website that is designed to be like a store or something, could Comic Sans not make sense there? I know we hate on it, but I think it might work in certain scenarios. I think it might be fine.
I don't have to respond to you.
You know what would be hilarious?
Hold on. Because the internet is going to take care of it for me. Really? What is wrong with you people?
Yeah!
Everything has its place like it.
Yeah!
Even garbage. In the trash can.
No! Go the other way!
Guys, do the right thing. Do the right thing. A vote yes for Comic Sans is a vote for Donald Trump.
Wow! That's not fair at all.
It's not fair at all, but that's how elections work. I'm going to win now.
Doesn't that mean you're more like Donald Trump?
No.
Because that's not fair at all.
It has nothing
That's
to
just
do
some
with...
bull. You just said some bull crap.
It's just how wrong it is.
I guess we shouldn't be talking about politics. If someone actually wants to vote for him in here, that might be rude. We should restart this spot.
What? No, I think I think we can all agree that Comic Sans is a joke, and Donald Trump's campaign is a joke. What? We can't all agree on this?
We do not. Our views are not necessarily shared with aforementioned sponsors.
Yeah, let's start. Well, we'll start our Squarespace sponsorship spot over again.
Yeah.
So Squarespace.
Build it beautiful.
Thank you. Your site will look professionally designed regardless of your skill level. Apparently, Comic Sans can be included with that. No coding experience is required. And they have intuitive, easy-to-use tools and fantastic templates for making your site look great, whether it's on a phone, on a laptop, or on a promotional billboard.
Yeah.
It's trusted by millions of people and some of the most respected brands in the world. I certainly hope that, like, you know,
we update ours at some
GOP
point.
doesn't have, like, mind you, they don't even like Trump. Okay, sorry, I'm not getting into this. It starts at $8 a month, and you get a free domain if you sign up for a year. Start your free trial today with no credit card required at squarespace.com and use offer code Linus to save 10% off of your first purchase. They've got a bunch of great templates, so whether you're building a store or a blog or just like a personal website promoting what a fantastic personality you have that isn't abrasive at all, you can use Squarespace.com. Which leads us into our final sponsor of the day, TunnelBear.
TunnelBear.
The easy-to-use VPN app for mobile and desktop. TunnelBear lets you...
used it last weekend.
For what?
We wanted to watch what was it? Key and Peele. I wanted to watch something from Key and Peele on YouTube, and it's locked off from Canada. And I was like, I just want to watch one video. Come on. It's on YouTube.
And
so
TunnelBear is great for that because you can actually get 500 megabytes of data for free, no credit card required, by heading over to tunnelbear.com/LTT. Then if you decide you like it, you can tunnel to 16 different countries. They have apps for iOS, Android, PC, and Mac, and also a Chrome extension. The apps are easy to use, and their support bears are available to help you if you have any trouble. Then their plans start at... Why isn't the plan start at a mountain here? What happened to my TunnelBear notes?
Your TunnelBear notes got wrecked. Quick, type TunnelBear into the browser bar.
TunnelBear pricing. Start at free, so I guess that's true.
Well,
but
that's the 500.
But the paid plans start at $6.99 a month. Also, you can get a bonus 1 gig of free data by participating in their Twitter promotion. Yeah, but that's billed yearly. Yeah. Okay, so that's tunnelbear.com/LTT. So let's head into our next topic. What other topics do you want to do today?
The other stuff? There's build logs. There's also a Star Citizen callout that I would like to do. Did you just do something? Did we do something wrong?
No. Nick's like, yeah, sorry, I forgot. My bad. Please don't fire me. Or something along those lines. It's gonna happen though.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
We'll have to deal with that.
Okay, sorry. You know what? I guess we'll have to both be fired if anyone's going to be fired because he missed putting the starting prices in the doc, and I missed telling you can save 10% if you go to tunnelbear.com/LTT for your plan.
Oh, I thought you... Oh.
So we both got wrecked.
I thought you did say that.
Get wrecked, Nick. We'll get wrecked together. All night. All right.
Okay, we can do build logs.
Let's do the Uber thing. That's cool.
Uber thing?
Yeah, original article here is from TechCrunch, and this is some pretty freaking Smurf stuff right here. Uber takes on delivery. Yeah, Smurf. It means good. Don't worry about it. It's a Family Guy reference. You wouldn't understand.
Oh, people use it for like gaming. Like if you're really good and high ranked and you make a new account so you can play against crappy people, they call it Smurfing.
I thought that was called sandbag.
Smurfing.
Sandbagging?
Maybe both. I think the new kids call it Smurfing.
Smurf. Yeah, Smurf account. No, I've heard that before.
Yeah,
I've heard it in that context. I haven't heard it called Smurfing, but I've heard it called a Smurf account.
Yeah.
Anyway, Uber takes on the package delivery services with Uber Rush, an on-demand delivery service. This looks freaking awesome. So basically, they built an infrastructure of people driving around.
The whole chat's like sandbagging. You're so old.
Hold on. Oh, you know what? No. Sandbagging is deliberately underperforming. Oh, yeah, no, this is right. So having an account that deliberately underperforms to gain an unfair advantage in future matches.
Okay, kind of, yeah. No, the idea, I think, with Smurfing is just creating a new one.
Yes, but that would represent your record would not be representative.
Same kind of idea.
It's the same idea.
Yeah.
Sandbagging is a thing, so you
I think
guys
sandbagging
can get
is
wrecked
more
too.
if someone has a high-ranked account and then they repeatedly lose on purpose.
To get
Which is
seated
another
against a
thing that
more
people
favorable.
do.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. Actually, one of the most embarrassing examples of sandbagging that I ever saw was the women's. I think it was like it was women's badminton in the last Summer Olympics. I want to say 2012. Throw match, something along those lines. Yeah, here we go. So this was in, oh, bloody hell. Can't remember. Anyway, the video is amazing. This like professional badminton players playing on like my level, just like not even trying. So, and the reason was that they already knew the results of another match, another couple matches, and they wanted to fall in a better place in the bracket so they'd have a better chance of going through. Anyway, all the players ended up getting disqualified, so so get wrecked.
That's cool.
Thank you, Olympics, for being on top of that. Yes. But let's get back to Uber Rush.
Yeah.
So it's a pilot version of its merchant delivery service, then it was launched October 14th in San Fran, New York, and Chicago. We still don't even have Uber in Canada, thanks to the taxi mafia. It's focused on local shops for the moment, and utilizes vehicle and bike couriers to deliver things quickly. So Uber drivers can pick up passengers and packages, but can't do both at the same time. So businesses basically don't have to pay Uber to sign up for Uber Rush, but each delivery will cost the merchant between $5 and $7, which is not bad when you consider that it happens right away. So Business Insider tried the New York City pilot, and a reporter had a raincoat she forgot at a meeting and picked it up and dropped it off, and it was picked up and dropped off within 20 minutes for $11.
Wow.
Pretty cool, hey?
That's not bad at all.
So yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome. I just wish we had Uber at all.
Yeah, even slightly would be nice.
Yeah. This is like the shittiest news ever. But basically, John Total Biscuit Bain has oh, whoops, that's the wrong thing. Has released a statement on Twitter that basically says his cancer is back. So I don't know if all of you are necessarily familiar with Total Biscuit, but you probably should be. Yeah, I know. You probably should be. We've had him as a guest on WAN show before, where he was awesome, by the way. But he's awesome at a lot more things than just being a guest on WAN show. Solid dude, upstanding dude. Has really changed games journalism in a way that goes beyond how many subscribers he has on YouTube. And the long and short of it is the average life expectancy for the condition that he's in right now is 2 to 3 years. However, that is based on that the condition that he's in is usually found in older people who are less capable of fighting it. So, you know, he's hoping for the best, and who knows what cancer treatments are going to be available in the next, who knows, even 2 to 3 years. You know, hopefully he's got a fighting chance, but it's back. So we're talking about that, not because it's tech news necessarily, but just because it's a bummer. Check out Total Biscuit while you can, but we are still really hoping for the best for him. And yeah. Also, he's closing his StarCraft 2 team, Axiom. This was another. There's a screen grab of the full announcement that I can pull up here. But basically, it's come to an end. The Axiom website is down. They hadn't been having a great run in terms of competitiveness for a variety of reasons over the last little bit, anyway. But in light of what's going on in John's life, yeah, he's focusing more on family and medical expenses at the moment. So
this super sucks. Not only do I like him as a person, having him on the show and talking to him outside of the show and stuff, but I literally watch everything he releases.
I had never talked to him before we had him on the show, actually, which is kind of funny because I just like...
I had talked to him at shows as a fan without him knowing who I was, I think.
Right. So I hadn't done that, but I've actually stayed in touch with him since we had him on the show almost 2 years ago. Like, yeah. So let's move on to something else, I guess.
Build logs?
Sure. Let's do build logs. So we actually haven't done this in a long time, but on the Linus Tech Tips forum, folks can create, I'm actually going to move us out of the way here. Folks can submit their build logs, so logs of their build. It's pretty self-explanatory.
I would recommend full screening it if you can.
Oh, okay.
Button is there. Yeah.
There we go. Yes, allow. Why would I click full screen if I don't want it to allow it? So basically, voters can, staff or community can pick ones that they like, and then they can be featured on the show. At least that was the theory. We stopped doing it for a long time because we forgot. So this one looks absolutely sick. Check out that custom backplate for the graphics card.
Do you know what that skyline is?
This skyline?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Because I recognize like the needle on the far left.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Someone's going to tell us what a bunch of idiots we are, and they're going to know, but I don't, so.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. Look at that.
It reminds me of Snef. Wow. It's not Snef, but it reminds me of Snef.
That just looks fantastic. I sure wish that this coolant made sense for anything other than like glam footage of systems.
Yeah.
You know that if you turn your system off for a while, it settles and then like goops up, right? So you have to literally run your system like pretty much continuously.
Yeah. So in the chat was like, I don't like Luke. One time he forgot who the actor who played Han Solo was.
I don't like Luke either. Yeah, and you probably don't even know that that's a somewhat roundabout Star Wars reference.
I know.
Do you?
I did know.
Do you?
You're a jerk! So this is the second one. So that was what? That was voters' pick. I think this is now the like mod team's pick.
But don't talk trash about Luke because he'll rip your arms off.
Not
just like when he loses.
Proper. You're referencing the wrong person. Is that the whole point?
No, yeah, it's just a Star Wars reference.
Yeah, okay. But you're saying Luke.
What?
Who is in Star Wars.
Even the previous reference was not Luke. It was Dr. Whatever his face is.
But isn't he saying that towards...
Yeah, he is saying that to Luke, I guess. You got that.
What you talking about, son? That's not a reference to anything.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Who is that line delivered to?
He doesn't like you very much? Is that what you're talking about?
No, yeah, no, that one's to Luke. But who is Han telling that a Wookiee? No, it's C-3PO. That's right.
But he's talking about the Wookiee.
No. Yeah, okay, yes. Han is talking to C-3PO about Chewbacca.
Yeah.
The Wookiee's name is Chewbacca.
I know. You said
I don't
Wookiee
know.
right there.
I don't know if you know these things.
Jerk. I knew the character in the show. I didn't know the actor.
So here's our staff pick.
And I do.
Wow.
You'll see. It's
I've got
cool.
wood.
Yes, basically.
Check that out.
Look at that bottom picture.
I'm liking it.
That's pretty sick.
That's fantastic.
So he took like the actual front grill off of some case.
Nice and compact. Looking pretty good.
I think it's cool.
All right, we got one more here.
So this is the like wild card got picked because holy crap, what the hell system.
All right.
So this is it. I think this is the only photo there is. So he has a computer, an Xbox 360, a PlayStation 3, and a PlayStation 4, all water cooled on one loop.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'd only really use one of them, but it is pretty cool.
But I mean, having those there for like, you know,
look at how inferior these ones look.
Museum archival purposes.
You know, my favorite part is too is all the PC components like color match the board and stuff, and then it's like, oh, green grossness.
Yeah, here's some ugly PCBs I ripped out of some like turd boxes or whatever. Okay, to be fair, we have actually said that the PlayStation 4 was not terrible at launch. And if you want to play exclusive titles
at launch, and now you can like kick its ass.
Well, yeah, but
like all the Scrapyard Wars stuff that went down.
Oh yeah, I know.
When you guys see the new one,
yeah, it's
even
awesome.
Like, yeah, I don't know. The result is very cool.
All right, so the Skarp raised $4 million before having its funding suspended for not having a working prototype. And oh man, did they ever try to sell people on the idea that the footage they were showing was somehow a working prototype. It was not.
It was not even remotely a working prototype.
It was not. I am frankly a little disappointed that we talked about this thing. See, this is why every time we get burned on this crap, I'm like, you know what? We should just not cover Kickstarter stuff anymore. You know what? We should just stop covering Kickstarter stuff.
But then we get to cover this part of it.
And then there's like some cool
thing. So every single thing that we cover in Kickstarter is 2 topics. Think about it that way.
We're getting great mileage out of these topics.
We are, yeah. They're amazing. And then we already know everything about it next time we have to cover it. I think we should only cover Kickstarter stuff. So, then we only have to prep a show twice a month.
So more than 20,000 people had backed the project. There's a great Reddit thread that you guys should read through about all the reasons why what they were doing probably doesn't or perhaps could work. People digging into the alleged credibility of the people involved versus what they were saying their credibility was, people picking apart some of the footage and why it may or may not have had a filter over the lens or whatever else. So basically,
Super Sketch.
It's back up on Indiegogo, so there's that.
Yep.
And has raised $300,000 US already again. So yep. There you go. The campaign will receive all funds, even if it doesn't reach its goal. So apparently, if this is a scam, then they've set their sights a little lower. Yeah. But they'll take the $300,000.
Yeah.
If it's not a scam, then I do sincerely hope that it's. I'm glad our logo's not there. Then I do sincerely hope that it ends up being real.
I really want it to be real. I super do.
They have not put any acknowledgement.
Have you seen this video?
Yeah,
this crap video.
Yeah, it's brutal. They're
oh
like,
my god.
It's like they've like
get someone else to hold the camera.
They used a Dremel to like cut out a thing on their prototype, and then they put like a filament in here. That could be anything. They don't show us the power source, so it could be a AAA battery. It could be a nuclear generator.
Yeah. It's just the worst shot video like ever. And why is it so green?
That's a lens filter to help you see something or something or something. Anyway,
There's no audio, if I remember correctly. The video on YouTube has ratings disabled and comments disabled.
yep. So something, etc. Yeah, they haven't said anything about being kicked off of Kickstarter, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting. Well, we'll see how that turns out.
Someone just said Scrapyard Wars 3 should be 4 because 3's already coming out. But Scrapyard Wars 3, make a laser razor. Oh man, that's awesome.
All right, so SuperMHL is on its way with support for 8K video.
So someone heard Linus complaining about how the heck you deliver 8K video.
And
then was
delivered SuperMHL.
Yes. They're like, wow, let's develop all of this in less than a week.
Yep. So move over. Standard mobile high definition link. SuperMHL is on its way, and it's bringing better video quality and support than ever before, according to the subheadline on CNET. So the skinny is this: support for 8K 120 FPS. Allows you to stream up to 8K AV content from a mobile device to a TV or other display, and supports up to 48-bit color. Totally unnecessary, by the way. And launched at CES 2015. So they actually went back in time, did all the work that I asked for, and
that doesn't sound too complicated.
And someone sent me the link just in time for it to be after I complained that it didn't exist yet. I really like the way that all of that timing has worked
also, wait, yeah, never mind.
This is just kind of funny. Wired reports that Leonardo DiCaprio has snapped up film rights to the proposed book that is not written about the VW emissions scandal. So yeah, so they've teamed up with Paramount to buy the rights.
Good.
It will apparently be called Too Big to Fail.
Good.
And it'll be something about the impact on the automotive industry of the race to more specs and more, better, faster, and all that kind of stuff. He's also actually recently signed a multi-year deal with Netflix to produce environmental films.
Cool. Good.
So there you go. Cool.
Do good things, DiCaprio.
Way to go, Leo.
Yay.
I don't know that you're actually a super nice dude, but at least you're doing this.
Yes.
This is cool. I actually submitted a review unit request, got my ass handed to me. They're like, yep, so we've chosen, I got a form letter back. They're just like, so we've chosen some key blah blahs, etc. So you're not getting one, but hey, we'll let you know if there's more later, and also you can have a discount on buying one, which I'm not doing because I think it's going to be a piece of crap. But this is the Light L16 camera, and apparently challenges DSLRs with 16 lenses in one package. So the idea, yes, right there, you are looking at a camera that will record the image 16 different ways, allowing you to make...
That sounds like a bad idea.
Make changes to the image in terms of focus, in terms of a bunch of other stuff after the fact. Hold on a second. John's trying to leave the office. Hold on. Can you put the sponsor spots in the scripts and... save them as .txt.
One.
Thanks.
Wasn't that already a technology?
Oops.
Are they claiming that they invented this?
Are they claiming they invented this?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. Two, that just sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think the DSLR traditionalists are going to probably look at this and go, or you could take one photo with a big sensor and a nice lens in front of it properly the first time.
And then Taryn's going to be like, fix it in post. This is the greatest camera that's ever existed because I can fix it in post even better. Ah.
So it'll have a touchscreen display on the back. It'll cost about $1,300 on pre-order, and when it starts shipping in the summer of 2016, it'll cost $1,700. That's assuming it works at all. And yeah, I guess I'm not really sure what else to say about that. It's about the size of an Nexus 6, so it's not huge, which is cool.
The UO-LTT, or the originally unofficial, that's what UO came from, Linus Tech Tips, Stars is a conglomerate, is going to be having a tournament thingy. There's going to be giveaways based on your performance in the tournament. The first giveaway is a $25 gift card. The second place is a $10 gift card. And the third place is a $5 item from the Pledge store. Even if you show up, it's just supposed to kind of be fun, so don't worry if you're not very good at shooting and blowing stuff up like me. I'm usually good at flying spaceships in spaceship games, and I'm really bad at it in Star Citizen, so oh well. Yeah, there's a thread on the forum. You should go there. Just look up Operation Brawl Star Citizen giveaway, and you will find it. It's from Napper198. Go check it out. Go join. It should be fun. Yeah.
Wow, we've got a whole bunch of stuff. Apple updated their iMac peripherals, so now there's the Magic Mouse 2, which features a charging port on the bottom for some reason. Original article here is from Anantech. So there you go. There's also a new Magic Trackpad 2. So
everyone just freaked out about the mouse.
And a Magic Keyboard updated version.
How bad do you think the mouse is? Because some people are just like atomic over the mouse having the charging thingy on the bottom.
I think it's super stupid.
Where would you rather it went? Just in the very front?
I liked their AA battery approach before. The great thing about a mouse that just takes AA batteries is that it will work forever because you can keep putting new AA batteries in it. And if you're out of battery,
like a very Apple approach.
And if you're out of battery, hold on. If you're out of battery, you don't have to sit on ass waiting for it to charge. You can throw in some disposables if you're in a pinch. Like we use 98% rechargeable batteries at Linus Media Group, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a bin of disposables just in case we're desperate. And the other issue here is that many mice with internal batteries so you can't just swap the battery pack, have charging connector positions such that you can plug them in and use them plugged into the computer.
So it just looks like a wired mouse, which is like what everyone has always done forever.
With that said, it charges for 9 hours of use in about 2 minutes.
I think people's freak out was a little bit much, and that's exactly why.
But it's still really stupid. And it's another example of Apple just going, no, well, design is everything, so we're going to put the important things on the bottom. Maybe next they'll put the click on the bottom because it looks better without... Actually, they already kind of did that when they removed the separated plastic buttons and just had the click be part of... There you go. The Magic Trackpad has a built-in battery, brings Force Touch to the desktop, which is very cool. It's 30% larger almost than the previous trackpad and pairs automatically with your Mac. And the Magic Keyboard is rechargeable battery, again via Lightning to USB, pairs automatically, and better scissor mechanism under each key, increased stability, etc., etc. So there you go, some updates, some of which are dumb, some of which are good, and some of which are just really not very important at all. What else we got here?
I think that might be about it.
The iPhone 6s camera shows literally no or little improvement over the iPhone 6. So yeah, it's fine, but so is the G4. This is from dxomark.com. So is the LG G4, so is the Samsung Galaxy S6. There's a lot of great smartphone cameras out there. It's really nice that you don't have to buy an iPhone anymore and that cell phone cameras have kind of gotten as good as they need to be for a bit. Even Apple agrees. They didn't make it better. With that said, the 6S improves in a lot of other ways over the 6. My review of that is up on Vessel and will be coming to YouTube soon.
When you talk about Humble Bundle, they used to be, the reason why I brought that up is because we used to call out what the Humble Bundle was every week. Do you remember that?
Yeah, back when it was like cool and sexy and
that is the whole point of this topic, is that Humble Bundle has let go of 20% of their staff.
This is off Destructoid.com.
Which is 12 people. The CEO admits that it was a little bit of an overly eager expansion, which is probably completely true. And this is largely to do, this part isn't in the notes, but this is largely to do with, well, back in the day, we used to call out every one of their bundles because they were sick. And they're really not that sick anymore. At the very beginning, which you would expect a company to grow, at the very beginning, they were selling a lot of Humble Bundles. I think it was like 500, 600,000 for the first sale. Now they're at like 100 to 200,000 per sale, which is a huge difference. And when your company is as big as he made it for, I don't actually know, I'm not in the company, but from as far as I can tell, the small amount of things that they do.
Yeah, well, they do book bundles, they do game store, they have a game store, and now a subscription service. And I mean, it's not like their competitors have stood still. It's not like people. It's like
that's the whole thing. Yeah, there's a lot of bundle companies.
That's
now.
like Groupon. Remember when Groupon went like super amazing? Everyone thinks it's important, and then like there's like a billion like clone, group deal, go to a restaurant for less than.
Because they realize how. Actually, like, again, I'm not in the industry, so I don't know, but how easy it probably is.
Yeah.
A lot of these indie guys are going to want to be on these bundles.
Yeah.
So if you're like, hey, bundle, they'll be like, okay, yes, please.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There was one other thing. I don't know. Do we want to do more bad news for AMD? Or should we just go easy on them? Sure. Corporate fellow Phil Rogers has left the company after 21 years. So our original article here is from Hard OCP. So corporate fellow, to be clear, is the highest level of technical recognition at AMD and is reserved for those who impact AMD's business opportunities and technical breadth by providing a high degree of expertise, knowledge, creativity, and tactical and strategic direction. He has gone to Nvidia, and he is now their chief software architect for compute server. Wah wah.
That's a little brutal.
Yeah, bummer about that. I don't know. I think that's probably it.
I think I just banned like 20 people.
Oh my goodness, I feel terrible. I had promised we were going to do the after party with the honorable mentions for the Ultra Wide Festival today, and I am not, because I need to shoot 3 fastest possibles right now, and I am already like tired, and it's already after 6, and I have to go somewhere after this. So I will do it, but it will not be this week. Of your mom?
Yep.
Actually.
Yep.
All right, so see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Bye. Get banned.
Are they doing that hiss thing?
Some of them are doing this thing. Some of them are posting speedtest.net or I think it was I don't remember something about speedtest.net.